have the same expectation as we did last year. We didn't win it, so we want to win. I'm not gonna lie about that. I don't want to go down there and lose. I want to win everything. I feel like Denzel. I'm leaving here with something.
The countdown to season 2 of Unrivaled is on. What stood out to you about season 1 and what made it so special?
Really, it was the first of its kind. And so nobody really knew what to expect. We all were just kind of signing on, like, okay, we know this is going to be some of the most elite players in our league and in our game. We knew the competition was going to be good. Everybody kind of grew up playing 3-on-3. You didn't always have like 5-on-5 to play sometimes. So, everybody knew that style of 3-on-3 basketball. It would be aggressive, it's going to be a fast game, but it was a different court. Like, we weren't playing on the long court, we were playing on a short court, a court that's never been made before. And so blazing that trail, was interesting. It was nuanced. We knew it was going to be that, but we knew it was going to be competitive. The iron sharpens iron mentality, just being in there with the best players. We knew we were going to get better. And for me personally, I came off of maternity leave in 24. And so I was using this opportunity as a time for me to get back in shape. I had a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. Just, I'm a single mom down there. And so just questioning, which resources I may have and how was I really going to make this work in this new league that I'm taking my kids down to Miami to play in. And so, really everybody down there, I wasn't the only mom down there, obviously. I got my Lunar Owl shirt on because it's official. But Nafisa Collier is on my team as well, and one of the founders of the league. And so just really thoughtful, as well as Brianna Stewart, who, Stewie's a mom as well. And so we had two mothers at the forefront of this league, and it was very thoughtful and built out just for that. And so the resources stuck out to me right away, specifically with childcare. And I had never experienced being able to go to the games and drop my kids off. I knew they were going to be safe. I knew they were just 10 giant steps away from me at all times. I really got to know the nannies involved, and we kind of became like a little family within there. And it was other kids. And so it was just a real dope environment, not just for me, but the resources they had for me available for my children.
Yeah, and that's really cool because Unrivaled has kind of created an off-season alternative for players who want to stay stateside instead of going overseas. And you kind of already touched on this, but that is especially meaningful for people with children and families. And would you say that that kind of has created an option for you to stay with your kids in the off season?
Yeah, I mean, personally, sure. Just having an additional opportunity that's in the United States, for all of us. Personally, I had never played overseas outside of a USA basketball national team, but I know a lot of the stories of my counterparts in the WNBA and how opportunities can differ. And just having an additional opportunity to come where you're going to get good competition, you're going to get the exposure, you're going to get paid, most importantly. And Rival definitely offered another opportunity, and it's just amazing to see how fast the brand grew. Like I said, it's kind of a forest bias situation with the league being started by two WNBA players, but two multi hyphenates, and some of the greatest players to pick up a basketball in our game. And so it was very inspiring to be a part of the first year, and now for it to come back for year two even stronger and bigger. You feel really special as some of the players who were a part of that inaugural season, and just continuing to try to grow our game and grow our opportunities. And now is the time where our sport is booming. And so we're trying to make the WNBA get on board, to the example that Unrivaled is setting, and continuing to set the bar for the opportunities of what we can do. And really, when we have that support and that backing and those resources.
Yeah, and they have set the blueprint, like you said, for prioritizing player experience. And they've doubled down this season by adding, a new weight room and expanding the already top tier amenities. How do you feel they've raised the standard on like what you feel like you expect for a league to provide?
Yeah, I mean, not to sound redundant, but all the things that you just said, just providing those resources, that environment. I mean, we don't have to travel, we don't have to put all these miles on our body, and we can still work on our game, have focus areas that are just for the players. people that take it very seriously, about our health and safety and our security, and just extremely uh, top of the line, in the people that are involved. And it starts from top to bottom, with the leadership that they have there, and trickles down to who's around us and the support staff, strength and conditioning coaches, athletic trainers, the managers and uh, club managers that work with our teams from day to day. And so it's a well-oiled machine. And I was really impressed by how it came together in the first season. And I know it'll be even better, this second season with more teams. So with more teams, we needed more resources, and they knew that, and they provided that. And so we were figuring a lot of things out on the go last year, and it still was amazing. And so we definitely want to exceed those expectations again. Obviously, I want to exceed the expectations that we have with our club. And so it's fresh faces, it's entertainment, it's in your face, it's fast paced, it's great basketball, great people. And on top of the player experience is prioritized, and you feel like that. And we welcome all ages, to join the fun. But it's been great to see how the game has grown, and how Unrivaled is talked about, from the fans that were in the arena, to the fans that were online or streamed it. And so we appreciate the support. And I look forward to starting again at the top of the year.
And do you feel like those resources that you were speaking of, do those make you feel valued as a player? And how does that translate to your game and just the product that you're able to put out?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to compete. And I'm the oldest player in the league, first and foremost. So I only can speak on my vantage point. I need things. I need things. And I definitely got all those resources. Like I just listed off, from massage therapist to, like I said, from strength conditioning to Pilates coaches, um, to court coaches, player development. You have the gym accessibility 24/7, really, if you want it, as long as you communicate it. And I need all the things. We deserve nice things, and we got nice things. And obviously, the better, the saunas, the cold hot tubs, all the Theraguns and all the things you need, equipment wise. We had everything to help our body be at an elite level, and that's the only way we can compete at that level, is if we have those resources to help us to do so.
Unrivaled has also changed the conversation surrounding pay, by offering players ownership and equity rather than just salary. What does this model mean to you, or the future of the sport? Like, what do you think that means for the future of the sport?
I think they just showed how important it is to include the athlete in the decision making process, to include their vantage point, to have the diversity of opinion as far as what's going on with these leagues and with our league. And obviously, as investors, you become more invested in the product and growing the game, not only from how you can impact the game while you're playing, but evergreen and after. And as a mother, that's something I think about, that's really important to me. Like, what is my legacy after the game? Am I what is my legacy for my children? And being an investor and open up those opportunities for players, is something that we hadn't seen before on our side, but will, I would think, one day become maybe the status quo, as far as offering these things. But it just gave us a way to be involved, not just on the player side, but in the business. And I think at the end of the day, that helps the business grow.
And you were speaking about your legacy. Have you started to think or thought about what you want your legacy to be in the sport?
Yeah, I think about it all the time. And you think about it because you never know how long you have to play in this league. I just been here a very damn long time. You know what I'm saying? And so I've always thought about that throughout the process of my career. And maybe I'm still creating it, but it is really my children at this point, and how I can pour into them and their future, their health, safety, education, happiness, et cetera, et cetera. But also setting the example. And I've become more brave since I've had them, and so just really going for things that I want to go for, exploring other passions that maybe I wouldn't have beforehand. And so just continuing to develop my legacy. It's still being written, but I know I have two life form versions of it, every day, that inspire me to be the best version of myself.
And the rosters were unveiled last night for season 2, and as your shirt says, you are back with the Lunar Owls, and they named you
Yes.
one of a protected player during the draft, along with Nafisa Collier. And you played there last year as well, and you guys were the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. What are the expectations for your team this season, and are you happy to be a Lunar Owl again?
Oh yeah, I'm ecstatic to be a Lunar Owl again. I mean, who else identifies better with the Lunar Owl brand? Outside of Big Mama, Big Hootie Energy, all of those things. But no, I'm excited. I get a chance to play alongside Nafisa. I mean, Nafisa is one of the best players in our league. She's one of the futures of women's basketball. Not only what she does on the floor either, it's what she does off the floor. So, I love playing alongside her. I'm looking forward to that. We have a new team this year. But we have some players that played in the game last year. I'm really excited to join my fellow Irish, Marina Mabry. She's on my team this year. I'm happy I don't have to play against her for a second. But we have some great players on our team: Aaliyah Edwards, Rachel Banham, and Rebecca Allen. And so I think we're a dynamic team. I think our team could shoot the hell out the basketball. But it don't matter. It's going to be competitive every single game. Every team is super good. And that just says a lot about the talent in this league. And so you'll be seeing some great bump every night, no matter who's playing. And I definitely look forward to the competition of it all, the shenanigans of it all, and just really getting to engage, with all of the fans of Unrivaled, but especially the Lunar Owl fans.
Gotcha.
And
And
we
there's
had the same expectation as we did last year. We didn't win it. So, we want to win. I'm not gonna lie about that. I don't want to go down there and lose. I want to win everything. I feel like Denzel, I'm leaving here with something. But no, I'm super excited about joining. Year two. It's just so much talk about year two. And I just think it's gonna be huge from, the floor to the tunnel fits to, special guests and like I said, all type of shenanigans that I'm here for. So it's an exciting brand of basketball, and I'm lucky to be a part of it. And I hope everybody get a chance to check it out. If you haven't seen a game, you can start with our team. But definitely just check it out if you can, because it's a pretty dope game.
And there is a talented new rookie class that's coming in this season, including Paige Beckers and some of your Storm teammates and Ezzy and Dominique. What advice would you share to the rookies heading into their first season at
None. 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 Ain't nobody getting no advice. They too damn good on their own. They don't need no help from me. But it's good to see some familiar faces for sure. I know, like I said, it's gonna be super competitive. I got, coaches and you know, players that I play with, coaches that I used to play with, coaches I played against. It's a lot of dynamics, but just have fun with it. It's a different game than basketball, than 5-on-5, traditional basketball. It's a different game. So but those women don't need my help. I can't share. I said I'm the oldest player in the league. I can't give them too much, you know. But it's a lot of excitement that they're gonna bring to their clubs. And the more eyes that they bring to our game. They've done a great job for themselves, marketing themselves. That's just better for our league. So I'm excited to have them. I think it makes every team super dynamic and really, really better for the competition. And that's what I'm here for. So they don't need my help though, girl. They good enough by themselves. But I'm happy to have them, a part of the league for sure. And it's gonna be good, seeing them around. I give big mama energy, so I feel like people ask me a lot of questions. Um, but it's a lot of electric players that are added to this field that's gonna make it crazy.
And Noelle Quinn is also joining the league as a coach for the Breeze, an expansion team this season. You worked with her closely at the Seattle Storm. What advice would you give to Noelle as she steps into her new role in Unrivaled?
Noe is dope, and Noe is a player coach. Um, you know, her basketball mind is incredible, but her ability to connect with people is what makes her so special. And I think that the group of players that she has are some of those young, exciting players that you're talking about who's really just getting started. And I think it's perfect for them to cross paths with somebody like Noe, just her ability to connect with people, her ability to develop players. Obviously, she's getting to work with Dom again and Dom, and so that dynamic there, I think is going to be awesome. But she is going to probably be a little bit more exposed in the internet. No, we don't got an IG or nothing like that. So that's probably my only thing I tell her. We Unrivaled, we capture the whole experience. And so, I think it's great though that she'll have so much exposure, on social media, whereas she's more laid back and low key. I think more exposure is dope because I think people need to understand, how dope of a woman she is and a coach. And so I think that exposure will be awesome. And it's great that we have a basketball mind like that. I'm part of a part of Unrivaled.